Yo, people, from what we telling them is your boy Man Lion Jai back again with another video, another reaction from today. We got how Anthony Martial saved his career by goal side fam. Go check him out and that. It was just a video that wasn't even like looking for it or anything. It was in my recommended. I said, yo, that's actually an interesting vid, fam. You know what I mean? So I don't know what kind of concept it is or whatever, but yeah, let's check it out though. Let's check it out.
We Love is a very unique one for various reasons. One of the reasons why we love it so much and find it different from the rest is the sort of reactions and feelings it evokes from its millions of fans.
Standard, that's why
For
it's the biggest
instance,
spot in the
player
world.
might be really good, but purely based on his weekly performances, opinion of his ability is always divided.
Well, listen though, there's a couple of Man United players where people run agendas around them. Martial's one of them. From he doesn't get what do you call it, a fair looking like your Rashfords and that, because them man are homegrown, but because these man are international, and yeah, because of the skin of the colour from as well, from time to time, you get me, from they're not given the same chances or the same analysis or whatever you want to say, fam, you know what I mean, blood? So that is a factor as well, fam, no cap.
While one section of the fans is always rooting for him, convinced that he's that good, the other section is not so easy to win over. Many fans will seal the player's fate based on one good or bad performance.
Yeah, exactly.
Manchester United.
It's like as a striker, fam, yeah, you basically just expected to get goals. You know what I mean? Fam, but football is just more than just winning, losing, and goals. But there's much more to the game. Way much more to the game. You get me, fam? So just because your striker doesn't score a goal or whatever, fam, you know what I mean, that doesn't mean that they have a bad performance, because Martial does way more than just that, fam, you get me, blood? He's basically a hold-up striker, but just in a, not in a like a muscle way, you know what I mean, just in a way more intricate way, fam, you know what I mean, blood? He links up play, blood. He's not like a Lukaku or a Ibrahimovic, fam, you get me, where you have to give chances and create chances for them to finish. He can create his own chances, he can link up well with everyone, fam. He's got the dribbling, he's got the text, fam, you get me, to get out certain situations, blood. Is way more vital to the team than just scoring goals, fam. But people don't realize that, because all they want to see the strikers do is just score goals. But in every single position there's different kind of players, bro, you get me. There's different strikers, there's different wingers, fam. So it's not just down to the goals winning or losing, you get me.
United striker Anthony Martial perfectly fits the bill for such a player. The France international is definitely quite a talent, and when we talk about
and finally he's playing for the France team. He should have been playing for them way sooner, blood, but finally he's playing for his national team, blood. He deserves that right there, you get me.
Players making dream moves, Martial earned his move to Old Trafford. The striker was scoring goals and putting in accomplished displays when the Red Devils paid AS Monaco a handsome amount for his services. When he arrived at United, Louis van Gaal was the club's manager. The Dutchman really believed in Martial's qualities and was confident that the youngster would go on to become a player similar to France and Arsenal legend Thierry Henry. And this was very much true based on the Frenchman's start to life in the Premier League. An amazing goal against Liverpool was followed by some truly sensational moments of individual brilliance. Martial scored prolifically during his first season at Old Trafford, and fans were convinced that they'd found themselves a truly great player to root for. Sadly though, events transpired that would push Martial to a rather...
He annihilated Juve, blood. I remember that moment. Perfect. He annihilated
Sadly though,
Juve,
events transpired that would push Martial to a rather dark place in his playing career. Van Gaal was eventually fired as the club's manager, and the Dutchman was replaced by Jose Mourinho. The Portuguese tactician had a rather different way of doing things.
Exactly, fam. And that hindered a lot of things, fam. You get me? Took his number away and put him on the bench, fam. You get me?
And it became clear that Martial was going to struggle to replicate his debut season form for the Red Devils. Before the Mourinho era began on the field, many predicted that the Special One's arrival would not bode too well for the Frenchman. Mourinho expects a certain level of commitment and work rate from his players, and if we look at Martial as a person and as an athlete, he isn't one of those players who'll run all over the field and chase lost causes. Want to know how we never miss a match? With Fubo TV, you can stream any game, anytime, anywhere. Use our link in the description to start under Mourinho, and also struggled with injuries. Every time he did get chances, he was unable to impress his highly demanding manager. Things had gotten to the point that during a press conference, Mourinho refused to answer a question about Martial's return to training and instead asked the club's press officer to respond. His relationship with Mourinho had definitely gone sour, and the France international was on the verge of leaving Old Trafford. During that time, the club was still struggling to find its identity, and Mourinho was pretty much on a
And we're still struggling to find our identity from the hell. We've been struggling to find our identity since Sir Alex Ferguson. What are you on about?
warpath with Paul Pogba. Martial, on the other hand, suffered a lot due to the stifling nature of Mourinho's game plans. Eventually, a lack of first-team minutes saw him lose his place in the France team that won the World Cup in 2018. Missing out
You know
on
what I mean, fam? You should have been there for that, fam. No cutlet.
what would have been the greatest moment of his playing career had a visible impact on Martial, who seriously considered leaving the club. According to rumours, Mourinho had no issue letting the Frenchman leave, but it was the much maligned Ed Woodward who stopped the youngster from leaving. It was clear that the
At least he did one thing right.
club's ownership never lost faith in Martial's prodigious talents. Lucky for him, Mourinho was sacked after United's defeat to bitter rivals Liverpool. The former Chelsea man was replaced by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and things took a different turn altogether once the Norwegian came in. While many people still aren't convinced of Solskjaer's managerial capabilities, it's clear that the former striker is a great man manager and allows his players the creative freedom to play to their strengths. Solskjaer put all his faith in the players he had. The likes of Paul Pogba, Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial were given loads of responsibility.
That's what, you know what I mean, giving him his 9 back, giving him his position back. Yeah, blood. That's what I'm saying. Mourinho being there hindered his career, fam. No cap, blood. But my Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know what I mean, he restored certain things back into him, you get me, fam.
Which showcased Solskjaer's trust in them, and they didn't disappoint. Martial's change in position and the overall atmosphere in the dressing room resulted in the Frenchman finding
His conversion rate, blood. Yeah. Martial's not a guy that you need to give chance after chance after chance after chance like a Rashford, you get me, blood. Like I always said, blood, if Martial had what do you call it, some of Rashford's chances, fam, against PSG, fam, he would have beat them by way more, fam, you get me.
the net 17 times in the league. Moreover, the arrival of Bruno Fernandes further aided the cause, and Martial would continue putting in solid displays on a regular basis.
Because now he had someone on his same level, you know what I mean, fam, that wasn't a matter too old, fam, that could, you know what I mean, be on the same frequencies, but you get me.
Last season, Martial played the highest minutes in the league ever since he moved to Old Trafford. That came despite the fact that he ended up missing roughly 56 days.
That's what also, I know I keep on pausing him, but last season, blood, him and Rashford, fam, for the amount of time that they were injured, blood, and they still did what they did, fam. And people are trying to tell me that they're not on certain man's levels, blood. The fuck out of here, cuz.
Days of playing time due to a hamstring injury he suffered early on in the campaign. Since coming back from that injury, Martial has not looked back and is now an important member of the starting 11. While at the beginning of his United career, Martial had become a left-sided foot.
His close control is disgusting, fam.
11. While at the beginning of his United career, Martial had become a left-sided forward due to his ability to cut inside and then cause problems, the France international is now trusted with the number 9 role that has been quite a problem for the club ever since they sold Romelu Lukaku to Inter Milan last summer. Selling the big Belgian was initially considered a mistake, but Solskjaer was seemingly happy with the striking options he had. Last season,
But that's the thing though, Solskjaer wasn't using him. You get me, fam, so it was the best decision for everyone basically, blood, to sell him. But if you're not getting used, what's the point, fam? And I like Lukaku, blood. He might not, as I always say, he's rough on the edges, but he gets the job done. He gets goals wherever he goes, fam, and that's a fact, fam. You know what I mean, fam, whatever you think about him. But Solskjaer didn't want to use him, blood, and he shouldn't be sitting on the bench, fam. No cap, he should not be sitting on the bench. And he moved, and now he's doing his thing, fam. You get me?
Solskjaer discussed the friendly rivalry between Rashford and Martial, and reserve goalkeeper Lee Grant has admitted that the club's manager has encouraged this rivalry and likes to see Martial getting better as a finisher. "We have a nice little battle actually," Grant told United's website. "I'm always on at him in training, always digging at him in training to try and do better. I'll always try to get the upper hand whenever he's shooting, and if we're doing drills, and it might be really normal, we might be running a phase and passively shooting into the goal. The phase finishes in the middle third, and the shot is not really full tempo. If Anthony shoots and I save it, I go 1-0 Anto. Then he'll get this glint in his eye, and the next one, it won't matter if the gaffer says don't worry about the shot in the end. He'll come through and want to shoot in a one-on-one." It was definitely not surprising to see Martial win United's Players Player of the Year award for the 2019-20 season. Granted that Bruno Fernandes's arrival played a big role in guiding the club to a third-place finish in the league, Martial's drastic improvement in form was something that no one was expecting. In all competitions last...
Nah, but he had it there, blood. That's what I keep on saying to people, fam. With these players, blood, you know what I mean? It's not just about what they have to do, fam. They need someone beside them, a coach, fam, to really guide them. You get me, blood? And that's what Solskjaer was for this guy, fam. He's a striker, he can relate, fam. You know what I mean? He had the talent, he just needed that guidance. That's all he needed, that trust restored, fam. Because just imagine that, fam. You come off the season that you just had, then the next season Jose Mourinho comes in, takes away your number. Now you're on the bench, fam. You get me, fam. It just has to, that plays an effect on what, you know what I mean, your performances and all of that. But that's what people got to realize, fam. I always say, but everyone in this world is a human being at the end of the day. Everyone has emotions. So when you treat him in a certain way, of course it's going to affect him on the pitch. But then Solskjaer came through, gave him back his number, said, yo, you're my main striker right now. If I move Rashford onto the wing, you know what I mean? And then Solskjaer, obviously, we know who Solskjaer is, blood. So he was able to connect with the guy, you get me?
Season.
So it wasn't a surprise, fam. Certain things just needed to be put in place, and it was, and now he's doing his thing again.
The 24-year-old managed to score 23 goals and was the club's highest scorer. Back when Mourinho was in charge, Martial and Rashford were competing for a place in the starting 11. It was kind of natural given that both are predominantly left-sided forwards. However, it would definitely be a shame to see these two competing for a place given their obvious talents. Solskjaer might not be the most astute tactician out there, and the jury is definitely out on him, but the Norwegian has gotten one thing right. Both men have contrasting playing styles. While Marcus Rashford relies on pure pace and power, Martial is the one who has...
Okay, relax. Because this guy's acting like Marcus Rashford can't dribble and all of these things, so relax yourself, fam. Relies on his pace, power, and also his dribbling. He's not like that. That's like a Lukaku, you get me? Lukaku relies on pace and power, fam. You know what I mean? And he can finish, you know what I mean, fam? But mostly relies on his pace and power. That's not Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford has more than that. Relax yourself, big man. Yeah, relax yourself, blood.
Close control, which allows him to dribble at great speeds. The moment he became the club's manager, the former striker made sure to find a way where both players' talents were used. Martial always preferred playing as a striker. Mourinho never really saw him as a number 9, but Ola took a gamble and it has seemingly paid off.
It's not Ola, blood.
Martial is an all-action forward and is great at linking up with the midfielders. He's already developed a great partnership with Pogba and Fernandes. Moreover, his passing and dribbling ability helps the team progress the ball deep into enemy territory very quickly. Martial is a very intelligent forward and understands the role he has to play in the final third. Rashford has started playing down the left wing.
And that's what I'm saying, fam, because some people just look at the surface of football and don't really look deeper than that. You get me, blood? There's more to football. There's certain intricacies that people don't realize, blood. So when Martial isn't out here scoring a hat-trick every game, blood, people just think, yeah, he's dead, fam. He's dead, fam. But he's doing way more than that, blood. Way more than that.
Now. But the fact that both men are now comfortable, both centrally and out wide, means that they can interchange throughout the game. This helps Martial, since he does like to drift wide in order to receive the ball. While Rashford is really good at progressing from the deeper areas of the pitch, Martial is excellent at running behind the line. Both men have a great connection in the final third, and their movements are equally complementary to one another. There is definitely something different about Martial now. The youngster looks much more confident and very focused. If you look closely, you might even find him smiling. Martial is carrying the look of a player who's trying to make up for lost time. Under Mourinho,
it's like that as well. When people say he doesn't smile, like what kind of bullshit is that, blood? Like honestly, he doesn't smile, fam. That's just who he is, innit, fam? That's just who he is, blood. Some people don't smile 24/7, fam, when they're out in the, you know what I mean? But when they're with the man, them, when they're chilling, when the vibes in, fam, you always see them have a good time, blood. Like people always pushing these BS agendas, fam. Like what does that have to do with anything? If he was out here treating people like dickheads, blood, then you can say, well, oh, he doesn't smile, blood. Like get out of here, man. You know that he's that kind of person that is reserved to himself, fam. You know what I mean? Fam, he's not like a Pogba or a Jesse Lingard that's just like out there, outgoing. You know what I mean? He's more that guy that's in the background, just, you know what I mean, just watching Wagwan. You get me, blood? There's no problem with that, fam.
As if he'd completely forgotten his way to goal. Under Solskjaer, though, Martial looks to have rediscovered all his best traits and more. He's now a more rounded athlete, is much more sharp, and you'll rarely see him sulking on the pitch. When he's on top of things, Martial is a joy to watch. His great speed, clever movement, and ability to take on defenders and do some truly outrageous things make him one of the most exciting players in the Premier League. Although there are definitely quite a few things that he needs to work on, Martial would do well to have more support around him. Manchester United have struggled since the start of the new campaign, and the fact that the Red Devils have been unable to bring in Jadon Sancho shows that the club is far from becoming a genuine title contender. The arrival of another creative player would aid Martial, coming that the Red Devils have been unable to bring in Jadon Sancho shows that the club is far from becoming a genuine title contender. The arrival of another creative player would aid Martial and the rest of his teammates a lot. Currently, the Frenchman is doing his best, but at the end of the day, don't you think that a forward needs the right circumstances to thrive? The 2020-21 campaign has started, and as things stand, Martial is yet to find the net. United have struggled quite a bit in the opening 2 games of the Premier League season. While no one really bothers if a striker has not scored in the first 2 games of a season, it can be rather concerning if the run is a continuation of the previous campaign. Martial has only found the net once in the last 7 games he's played for the club. During this barren spell, the Frenchman has played against West Ham, Leicester City, Copenhagen and Sevilla. However, despite not being able to find the back of the net, the former Monaco man has made key contributions in each of these games by either providing an assist or winning a penalty.
That was a cool looking vid. There's some things that I just didn't, you know what I mean? Some things that I didn't agree with what he was saying there, you get me, fam? But yeah, blood, check him out anyways though, you know what I mean? From my end, that's solid, blood. At the end of the day, people are gonna think what they think, blood. But yeah, fam, that was your boy Manline Jais, fam. And yeah, Martial's already broken the deadlock anyway, fam, you get me? The team's starting to play good. Obviously against PSG, what do you call it? Solskjaer played a different formation, 4-1-2-1-2, blood. People say, he's a tactical genius. At the end of the day, blood, I've been screaming since last season that he needs to change the formation, and when Donny came in, you need to find a way to bring every single player in, and he finally did it, fam. That doesn't mean that I should praise the guy, fam. He should have done that time ago, fam. You get me, blood? Because people chat about we don't have creative play. We literally have Pogba, we have Bruno, blood, we have Donny van der Beek, blood. We have people like Mata, blood, that can come in as well for certain games, fam. So, you know what I mean, fam? It's just about finding that right formation, and that's what I wanted this guy to do from time, blood. And he just kept him playing dusty as 4-2-3-1, fam. And kept him playing Pogba and Matic there, blood. Nah, blood. And then he finally changed it, and look what happened, fam. You get me, blood? But yeah, blood. It's your boy Manline Jais, though. Hope you enjoyed that one there, fam. And yeah, I got one more video left. Can't remember what it is. But I'll see you there, fam. In a bit, people, blood.
From what you heard, you know this a banger. Too many flavors, I'm a chimichanga. Wait for the sequel, cliffhanger. I got bangers on bangers on bangers. My punches hit hard like a hammer. I ain't an artist, I ain't a rapper. This just a hobby, spare time swagger. Walk in the room like I'm a gangster. All eyes on me. Shout out Pat, get lit in the front, get lit in the back. Nick, neck, patty wet. You thought I fell off? Psych, nah. You knew me for years, didn't know I had this. Never did I. It must be magic. Bang this out, make it a classic.